Hello, and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Liverpool transfer news, Alexander Isak transfer twist as Arne Slot speaks on 2 deals. Liverpool are continuing their work in the transfer window, despite being one of the Premier League's busier clubs this summer. The Reds appear to still have their eyes on 3 more players before the market is shut. Arne Slot's side are nearing a complete deal for Parma defender Giovanni Leone. The 18-year-old is highly regarded and is set to enter the Dutchman's squad. Transfers for Alexander Isak and Mark Guehi remain less certain, with little over 2 weeks remaining to get their signatures over the line. Guehi could yet arrive for free in 12 months' time, while the 3 years remaining on Isak's contract has ensured Newcastle have not easily caved. The Reds take on Bournemouth to kickstart the Premier League on Friday, however, and will have no faces on show. The likes of Florian Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong could make their debuts in the division. With that said, Mirror Football takes a look at the latest transfer news and rumors surrounding Anfield. Slot's reaction to transfer prospects. Arne Slot kept it coy on the possibility of transfers for Giovanni Leone and Mark Guehi. The former is set to arrive at Anfield in a $35 million deal, but the Dutchman would not give much away on the Italian's arrival. The clubs have agreed a deal, but he has not signed for us yet. The moment he does, I can go into more detail, Slot said as he previewed Liverpool's game with Bournemouth. And Slot pointed reporters in the direction of Oliver Glasner for any questions on Crystal Palace defender Guehi. "He's not our player," said the coach. "Unfortunately, he was the captain of the team who we lost to last Sunday. If you want to have any talks about him, you should go to Palace and manager Oliver Glasner and ask him about it," Slot said. Latest Isak twist. Liverpool target Alexander Isak faces a fine from Newcastle as he is set to miss their opening game of the Premier League season against Aston Villa. The Swede's refusal to feature for the Magpies comes as he attempts to force a move to Liverpool. Isak has claimed he will not play for Newcastle again, and it is that stance that could see the 25-year-old in trouble. The star striker has so far continued to receive his $140,000 a week wages amidst the standoff. Mail Online report, Newcastle's stance will change once Isak misses a competitive match, and discipline will then arrive. Isak's position, meanwhile, is reported to be firm to avoid encouraging the club to believe a truce can be achieved that would kill any prospect of a transfer. New Deal midfielder Lucas Stevenson has signed a new contract with Liverpool before immediately joining Dundee United on a season-long loan for the second term in succession. The 21-year-old impressed with the side and won their Young Player of the Season award in 2024-25. Dundee United manager Jim Goodwin said, "We're absolutely thrilled to welcome Luca back to Tannadice. He made a tremendous impact last season, not just in terms of performances, but in the mentality and energy he brought to the group every single day." Second news. Liverpool transfer news amid unhealthy Alexander Isak admission and Mark Guehi decision. Liverpool is set to sign the Parma wonderkid Giovanni Leone, an 18-year-old center-back, for around $35 million, $26 million, and there could be another couple of arrivals before the September 1st transfer deadline. It is a fair price for Leone, Lorenzo Battoni, the editor of Football Italia, told Liverpool.com. "It is a bit of a risk, but it is a risk that Liverpool can take. It is a fee that no other Serie A clubs could afford, so generally, I'm not surprised that he picked Liverpool. No Italian side was ever close to that transfer fee." Here is our verdict on the transfer gossip to emerge around the Reds today. 2 more players are on the agenda once the Leone deal is officially confirmed. Alexander Isak, Newcastle United. Eddie Howe has admitted that want-away striker Alexander Isak, for whom Liverpool has already seen 1 transfer offer turned down, negatively impacted morale among the rest of his Newcastle teammates earlier this summer. "I don't think it's been healthy for us," Howe said, via the BBC. I don't deny that's been a big challenge. Alex, for me, is one of the best strikers in the world, if not the best. To miss him from your squad leaves a huge gap. Howe also admitted that the Isak situation meant morale was certainly affected early on during preseason. When you have a player that good who is not part of your group, it's difficult for the players to fully understand it and to know what's going on and how to react, he added. But as time has gone on, there has been an acceptance that this is the squad and we have got to make the best of the situation. That's always been my train of thought. According to the Daily Mail, Newcastle has not fined Isak for his conduct yet, but will begin to do so once he misses a competitive game. That will happen on Saturday, when he will not be involved against Aston Villa. Isak still wants to join Liverpool. Newcastle is still looking for a potential replacement. While it is close to signing Jacob Ramsey, Howe needs at least one striker to come through the door before the Magpies' stance on Isak can soften. Mark Guehi, Crystal Palace. Despite the imminent arrival of Leone, Liverpool would still like to sign Mark Guehi. However, Sky Sports says it is still possible that the Crystal Palace captain could stay for another 12 months in South London. Guehi, who is Crystal Palace's captain, is said to be happy to remain put for another year and take his side into the UEFA Conference League. He would then depart as a free agent in 2026. Crystal Palace CEO Steve Parish said last weekend, though, that this was not an option. If Guehi doesn't sign a new contract, he wants to cash in now, rather than lose a key asset for nothing. We'd have to do that, of course, Parish said. For players of that caliber to leave on a free, it's a problem for us, unfortunately. Joachim Andersen went to Fulham last summer, and we couldn't afford to lose both. We then had another bid for Guehi in January, but that was a different situation. We'll just have to see what happens. But you know it needs a new contract, or a conclusion of some kind. Third news. Liverpool now have a chance to dominate. A blockbuster end to the transfer window awaits. In an effort to stave off the difficult second album, Arne Slot and Richard Hughes have been granted the big band budget at Liverpool this summer. Having signed just Federico Chiesa 12 months ago for a cut-price fee of 10 million from Juventus, the Reds have been far more aggressive, proactive, and front-footed, this time around in effort to build on the success of the Premier League crown. The deal for Giovanni Leone at an initial 26 million from Parma takes the Reds' summer spending spree, already at historic levels, to a figure way beyond the 300 million mark, with the prospect of more additions before the transfer deadline on September 1st. It's been quite the outlay on Merseyside, and it's been a period that has kept those in the recruitment department knee-deep in work all summer. One suspects the overtime sheets might have come at a considerable expense for the club from those working around the clock to ensure Slot's squad is suitably reupholstered in time for the big kickoff at home to Bournemouth on Friday evening. Jeremy Frimpong kicked things off in May when his 29 million release clause was triggered before Florian Wirtz made Anfield history by becoming the most expensive player of all time at Anfield at 160 million from Bayer Leverkusen. That is a mantle that the Germany international may even concede before the window closes. More on that shortly. Armin Peksi and Freddie Woodman have added depth to the goalkeeping department, while Georgi Mamardashvili's 29 million move from Valencia, which was arranged last year, was made formal at the start of July. The Georgia International will provide some international caliber competition for the vaunted Alisson Becker. Milos Kerkez, meanwhile, will see Liverpool have the sort of strength of depth most other teams could only dream of at left-back as the young Hungarian now jostles for position with the long-serving Andy Robertson. The 79 million capture of Hugo Ekitike is arguably the most intriguing deal for the Reds thus far. The France under-21 international has looked to be a potent mix of power and poise in his limited cameos so far, and the nature of his well-taken strike in Sunday's Community Shield augurs well as a new-look forward line continues to take shape. In 18-year-old Leone, The Reds believe they have ended a three-summer search for the long-term successor to Virgil van Dijk in defense, while interest remains in England international Mark Guehi, who could yet join for a relatively cut price fee from Crystal Palace, due to his contract situation at Selhurst Park. It is the intrigue around the want-away Alexander Isak that continues to fill column inches and internet space, however. The Newcastle United striker has made it abundantly clear he sees no future at St. James's Park, but it's now 2 weeks since the Reds saw a £110 million bid flatly rejected up in the northeast. Liverpool, for all the summer expenditure, still look light on attackers after allowing Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz to leave for Al Hilal and Bayern Munich, respectively. And while Isak's situation shows no signs of a resolution either way at this stage, the lack of alternatives emerging on the rumor mill is perhaps indicative of a club who have firmly fixed their gaze on a British record deal for Isak. The number 9 has made no bones about his desire to move on, and while Newcastle are seemingly making little progress on the recruitment front of their own with regards to an adequate replacement, Liverpool's willingness to make Isak the most expensive player in British football history must surely bring those at St. James's Park back to the negotiating table at some stage. In the same way, Liverpool used their £132 million windfall for Felipe Coutinho from Barcelona in January 2018 to bring in Virgil van Dijk and then Alisson Becker, there is an argument that Newcastle may be able to improve their all-round squad with the fee that would take Isak to Anfield. That theory might be scoffed at in Northeast circles, but there is a precedent for reinvesting smartly. For all the bluster about the champions' transfer kitty, however, their ability to fetch top dollar for those leaving the club means their net spend this summer currently sits at around £130 million, which, while not an insignificant sum, is more than manageable for the Premier League champions, who are almost certain to post record-breaking revenues in next year's financial figures. That, then, is why there should be plenty of excitement about a potential blockbuster end to the window as interest in Guehi and Isak goes on. But it is about more than just whetting the appetite during the months of player trading, and Slot and Hughes have been given every possible advantage this summer to ensure they build a squad that will dominate. It's now time for them to deliver. Just that. Anfield awaits, starting with Bournemouth this evening. Isak wants to leave Newcastle. Transfer battle heats up. The summer transfer window in the English Premier League might see another major headline. It has been revealed that Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak intends to leave the club this summer. According to reliable sources, including insider Fabrizio Romano, the Swedish forward wants to join Liverpool and has taken a drastic step by declaring a boycott. As a result, he will not take the field in the Premier League season opener against Aston Villa. Millions at stake, and stalled negotiations earlier, the reigning Premier League champions made an offer of $140 million plus bonuses for the 25-year-old striker. However, Newcastle valued their star at $180 million, and this large gap has caused negotiations to be temporarily halted. Transfer market situation. Over recent seasons, Isak's performances have earned him a reputation as one of the most highly rated strikers not only in England but also across Europe. His mobility, goal sense, and versatility have attracted the attention of top clubs. If the clubs can reach an agreement, Isak's potential debut for Liverpool could become one of the biggest events of the new season. Fans are eagerly awaiting the outcome of this transfer saga. Thank you for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.